What percentage of your crypto portfolio should be Bitcoin and Ethereum? Okay, very interesting question. Bill, do you kind of want to maybe begin this off from your perspective?
Okay, sure. Let me start with this. I would say probably close to 60%. Okay, it depends how you want to split it up. In traditional equities, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have 60 stocks, 40 bonds. Okay, now that's old school. Now, a different idea is to have Bitcoin be, say you have 10 coins, to have Bitcoin and Ethereum only make up, say, 30%. Okay, so it depends how you want to do this, right? Like if you want to be an alt player, okay, it's probably 30% because you want your money where, the 10 and 15 X's are going to be. Okay. If you're a person who believes that, crypto represents like a whole new financial system and, there have been so many mistakes made in legacy. And if you pick up a newspaper today or read some online news, it's just pretty clear that we're going to need new alternatives. Then it's 60%.
All right. So for those who follow me for a while, I'm very, very bullish on altcoins. So to me, what is conservative to others is very risky, right? I mean, because even what Bill mentioned, I think that this is why it also helps having kind of different opinions, right? Because I also kind of learned from Bill as well. So for me, a balanced portfolio is almost 90% altcoins. I know that may seem very aggressive to people, but so for example, in past videos, I've talked about having 10% or let's say 9% of your portfolio in Bitcoin, 9% in Ethereum, and 9% in 8 other altcoins. Not just random altcoins, but altcoins that have great value. So for example, if we go to Token Metrics here, and let's go to, for example, our value investor ratings. So let's say I was building a portfolio. So in my opinion, I think you should have minimum 10 coins to kind of really spread the risk. And definitely Bitcoin and Ethereum, those two have the most value and are the best projects in our opinion long term at the moment. But we also have all these other coins like Cosmos, Zcash, Maker, Binance, Neo, Zcoin, Matic, and Komodo. At this date and time, as of today, these are our top 10 coins, and I would feel comfortable putting my portfolio in all these 10 coins because we're not just investing in random altcoins. We're investing in altcoins that our team has gone through and done the fundamental research on. We've done code reviews on, and the TA is in a bullish trend. So to us, having a portfolio that's evenly balanced across this, while to Bitcoin maximalists is hearsay and it's basically a shitcoin portfolio. To us, it's basically a portfolio that has lots of low cap gems that can really boost your portfolio. For example, looking at the market cap, Zcoin's market cap rank is 110 right now. Komodo is 71, Matic is 85. So we think the risk to reward ratio is good. Now, if you also look into just all the academic literature when it comes to investing, it's been proven that value investing in low cap stocks performs well in the long term. So having low cap stocks or just investments in general does do well. I mean, there's enough literature to prove that. But the challenge is it has to be something with value, right? So that's why kind of having a value investor approach where we find the right value that's undervalued and getting in early and putting that into your portfolio definitely makes sense. So, and then also I would leave about 9% of your portfolio to just be in a stable coin, to have some cash on hand, to be able to invest into different cryptocurrencies depending on different opportunities that present themselves. But to answer your question, in my opinion, although I know this is very, very aggressive, and I typically do get some flack for this, I think having about 18, let's say 20% of your portfolio in Bitcoin and Ether is definitely good. Now, obviously, having a fully balanced portfolio of just purely altcoins is just one subjective way of doing things, right? I know some people, kind of like as Bill mentioned, who still like altcoins, but maybe they have 30% of their portfolio in altcoins or 40% in altcoins. But for us right now, we're just kind of going a general balanced approach, because we do like to kind of not quite swing for the fences, but we do like to have some good risk in our portfolio, because we think the risk premium is pretty good once we've gone through and done our due diligence on each project. And let me stop there. Anything else to add to that, Bill?
Well, no, your perspective is definitely interesting. It's like, as you were talking, it's like, if I had a portfolio, I just thought to myself, would I put 60% of it in gold and silver? And I was like, well, that seems too much. Yeah. Right. So I'm rethinking my answer after hearing your answer, that maybe it does need to be spread out over a lot more coins.
Yeah. I mean, obviously my answer could be wrong. Obviously everyone is different. Depends on your risk appetite. I have a very high risk appetite, and that's something I've kind of learned even more as I've been in crypto. So it's obviously not for everybody. Actually, speaking of this, I did take a personality test. So it's called the Big 5 personality test. This is kind of the most objective personality test out there that clinical psychologists give. So I took it just kind of out of curiosity. So it basically told me that in terms of neuroticism, which is basically somebody's, I guess, how people experience negative emotions, I scored at a 10%. So meaning that 90% of people experience negative emotions a lot more than I do. So whether it's anxiety, stress, what have you. And I mean, it kind of makes sense because I have been called a stoic, or sometimes, I guess, unemotional. But I mean, for example, I got hacked and didn't really, I guess, cry about it too much. I definitely did feel the stink, but I knew that crying about it wouldn't get me my money back. So I kind of just said, you know what? Okay, just gonna have to learn from this lesson, not make the same mistake going forward, and just try to get find these bad guys with the help of the FBI. So, for example, I've made several investments in the past, from 2017 to 2018, even now, where I've lost money, and people kind of, also my audience as well, kind of, they experience the pain a lot more than I do. And now I can actually go through and understand why, because I know I'm kind of wired different. But it also gives me empathy, because now I realize not everybody is wired like me. So other people experience pain a lot more than I do. So while for me, I could lose $100,000 in investment and say, okay, you know what, bad investment, move on. Not everyone can do that, but right. So I guess it's given me more empathy to really understand that. So with that being said, just kind of take my portfolio strategy with a grain of salt, knowing that I have a high risk tolerance, and when I mess up or lose money, I might not really feel the sting as some other people. I mean, because even when I don't have the money, I just emotionally, I think experiencing the pain is done different for me than other people. So I think for anybody out there as an investor, I definitely recommend you go out there, take the Big 5 test, and kind of understand your psyche. Are you somebody who can experience pain and loss of money without really feeling too hurt about it? Or are you somebody who gets very emotional or upset from a bad investment? Because if that's the case, then then my portfolio is definitely not for you. Right? So I think psyche definitely does play a factor in terms of your appetite to risk. All right. Tell us what you think down in the comments below.